A woman stepped out into the street and started dancing. No music, no reason, nobody asked her to. She didn't stop. Not that hour, not that day, not that week. Within days, more people joined her, then more. Within a month, 400 people were dancing in the streets of one single town. And some of them danced until their feet bled, until their hearts gave out, until they dropped dead in the road. This wasn't a festival. This wasn't a curse in some old story. This actually happened, and it's just one of dozens of times an entire community lost its mind together at the exact same time for no reason anyone could ever explain. It happened in Strasbourg in the summer of 1518. The local authorities didn't know what to do, so they made a strange decision. They thought the people needed to dance it out, so they built a stage. They hired musicians. It made things worse. People kept dancing for days without rest, some until they collapsed from exhaustion, some until they broke bones, some until their hearts simply stopped. Eventually, the only thing that seemed to calm them was being taken to a shrine and prayed over. Whatever this was, it spread like fire and nobody could explain why. But Strasbourg wasn't the only place where something like this happened. Centuries later, in a convent in France, one nun started meowing like a cat. Just one. At first, the others laughed it off. Within days, more nuns started doing it too. Within weeks, the entire convent was meowing together for hours, every single day, like a chorus of cats locked inside a church. The village outside could hear it through the walls. Eventually, soldiers had to be called in and threatened to whip the nuns just to make the meowing stop. Now, picture a courtroom, not a convent. Salem, Massachusetts, 1692. It started with two young girls, 9 and 11 years old. They began screaming, twisting, falling into fits nobody could explain. A doctor was called in, and instead of finding a medical answer, he gave them one word: bewitched. That single word spread through the town faster than the fits themselves. Before it ended, dozens of people stood trial. 19 of them were executed, and it only stopped when the governor's own wife was accused, because suddenly the people in charge realized the fire they started could just as easily burn them too. A century later in London, something even stranger happened. Not in a courtroom, not in a church. On the streets, at night, people in Hammersmith swore they saw a ghost, tall, wrapped in white, appearing right as the church bells struck 1 in the morning. Word spread fast. Soon, nobody dared walk home after dark. People armed themselves just in case the ghost came for them too. And then, one night, a man walking home in the dark was mistaken for the ghost. He was shot and killed by a frightened crowd. There was no ghost. There never had been. Just fear, passed from person to person until it turned deadly. Skip ahead to 1954, a quiet American town called Bellingham. People started waking up to find tiny pits and cracks in their car windshields. Nobody saw it happen. It just appeared overnight on car after car, all across the same town. Rumors exploded. Some blamed sand flea eggs. Some blamed cosmic rays from outer space. Some were convinced an invisible attacker was moving through the town at night, damaging windshields one by one. Investigators eventually found the truth. Nothing was attacking anyone. Tiny windshield pitting happens naturally all the time, and people simply never noticed it before someone pointed it out. Once they were told to look, they saw it everywhere, and the fear did the rest. You'd think something like this couldn't happen anymore. Not in the age of cameras and instant information, but in 2012, in a high school in upstate New York, one student suddenly started twitching and convulsing. Then another, then another! Within weeks, dozens of teenagers were having the same uncontrollable movements, the same tics, the same spasms. Doctors ran every test imaginable. No virus, no toxin, no physical cause was ever found. It was happening entirely in their nervous systems, triggered by nothing more than watching it happen to someone else. So what is actually going on here? Scientists have a name for it: mass psychogenic illness. It isn't fake and it isn't people lying. The symptoms are completely real. Real fainting, real convulsions, real pain. The brain is fully capable of producing physical symptoms with no external cause at all, just from fear, stress, and watching someone else experience it first. Humans are wired to mimic each other. It's how we learn to talk, how we learn to walk, how we survive as social animals. But that same wiring means panic can spread through a crowd exactly like a disease spreads through a body, person to person, symptom to symptom. And here's the part that should actually worry you. This isn't something that stopped happening once the world got more educated. If anything, it got faster. A rumor in 1518 took weeks to cross one town. A rumor today can cross the entire planet in minutes, through a single video, a single post, a single panicked comment section. The dancing plague needed a town square. Today, all it needs is a phone screen. Every single case you just heard started the exact same way. One person, one strange symptom, one story that felt too real to ignore. A woman dancing alone in a street, a nun meowing in an empty hallway, 2 girls twitching in a quiet room. Nobody planned any of this. Nobody chose it. It simply spread, the way fear always spreads, until an entire town, an entire courtroom, an entire convent was consumed by something that was never really there at all. And the most unsettling part isn't that it happened centuries ago.